All right, Aquarius, so clock time. Time pressure in a rush and between worlds. Now, I think that some of you have been in a transition in your life for a while. And it would make sense that you're putting a timer on things. Like, I have to do this right now. Feeling like time is running out to do this. But I would say to you that by rushing yourself, that could be detrimental. Because you run the risk of falling back into the way things were. Because, I mean, look at the card. You go from gray to color. So the transition that you're trying to make in your life right now is for the better. Now, the other thing that clock time talks about is you will know when the right time is to act. And when that door opens, you will have to make that final push to make this transition. But I think that forcing yourself to do something right now is not going to be good. Like I said, it would be detrimental. Because you don't want to go back to the way things were. Like, there's a feeling of this has been something that you realize you needed to transition into for a while. Now, the dark mirror. Addicted. The moon phase here is the waxing crescent and the stage is depression. It says it's not about choosing the chains, it's about choosing them again and again. So when you're looking at your addictions, it doesn't necessarily have to be drugs and alcohol. It could be anything. It could be work. It could be a person. It could be food. You know, it just depends on what that addiction is for you that you continuously keep choosing over and over again. Now, especially for those of you who are dealing with drug and alcohol addiction, pushing yourself to make a transition for the better in your life would not be the best thing to do. That is why we have the STEP programs. You have to give yourself the time to get away from what it is that you are addicted to in order to make a good transition in your life that is permanent, right? But like I said, this addiction could be anything. But you continuously choosing it over and over again, I think, is the reason why some of you are having a hard time making, the transition into something better. All right, Aquarius, here's your overall son of a bitch, the Three of Swords. So straight up heartbreak, separation, betrayal, disappointment, all that shit. Now, it could be that, some of you are needing to work past a heartbreaking situation here, but we'll see. In the past, the King of Pentacles. There's a couple of ways we can look at this one. With the King of Pentacles being the past, it could be that, you had a really difficult, turn of events that may have affected your success in work, possibly. The King of Pentacles, though, absolutely could be about a person that you're dealing with. Earth sign doesn't matter to me. Male, female, I don't care. The thing is when you're looking at the personality of him, with the Three of Swords being the overall, absolutely could be about dealing with a person here who only cared about what they could gain by being involved with you. But now this could be something outside of your own personal success and gain that you are having to deal with, that kind of threw a monkey wrench into the system, so to speak. But we'll see here. Wow. In the present, the Queen of Cups. So, like I say, the kings in general readings for me, or other than dealing with people, is what is being projected outward. The queens are more about what we're internalizing. The Queen of Cups in the present moment, for some of you, due to heartbreak, possibly having to do with a person or a relationship, could be any relationship here, but you got a king and a queen going on. The Queen of Cups is going to be about your emotional well-being. And when you look at, I'm sorry, but going back to addicted, yeah, the Queen of Cups, besides the King of Cups, both of them have, the potential to become obsessed with things, being too emotionally invested. But I think that right now, your emotional well-being is what's going to be more important. That's what you need to focus on. Now, for some of you, absolutely, you may feel like you may have been taken advantage of. And I say that because of the Three of Swords being the overall. Future conditions, the Hermit, which, it to me is the appropriate response to this. Especially if you're looking to get back to a place where emotionally you feel whole again after dealing with a difficult situation, dealing possibly with a difficult breakup, being heartbroken and sad, and then you have the Five of Cups. But the Hermit being in future conditions, absolutely. This is needing to cut people out for a minute needing to give yourself some time to search for the answers within, and the soul searching, all of that good shit with the Hermit. But, like I always say, the stars, what's in his lantern, right? What was the original hope? Because you're at a 9 here. You're going back and looking at the entire process that you've been through. What is it that you have learned? What experience have you gained? How is that going to change how you move forward? But some of you are just, I need to be alone. Leave me the hell alone for a minute, right? I don't necessarily feel isolation, but, of course you run the risk of that with the 3 of Swords being there. Oh boy, your best path to follow the 5 of Wands. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. If we're talking about the internal battle here, you can't do this back and forth bullshit of, well, it could have been this way, or it should have been this way, because you're just, it's self-defeating. Now, with the 5 of Wands, though, when we're talking about people not understanding that combative type of energy, right? There's no point in getting involved. It's petty and it goes nowhere. And thank God it's not the 5 of Swords, but I think that the same thing applies. Don't get wrapped up in that shit. And what is it that you're fighting against? Or where do you feel like you have not been heard? But I look at that and think that there's no point to this anymore. There's no point in constantly going through these kinds of conversations where you're just, nobody is getting to any kind of a conclusion or solution. Wow, man. Oh, in your environment, the 10 of Swords. I'm going to say it again. General message. This doesn't have to be everybody's situation, but you guys know how I feel about this shit. Somebody needs to hear it. The 10 of Swords being in the environment with the Queen of Cups, a really painful ending here. It's no wonder why the 3 of Swords is still the main focus. But then looking at the Queen of Cups, absolutely, it would make sense that some of you feel like you may have been taken advantage of by somebody who only had their own interests in mind. And then you move into this place of the Hermit where it's like, what the hell did I just do? And again, I need to be alone with the pain for a minute. But you're working out a serious battle here with this 5 of Wands, But goddamn, man, yeah, the 10 of Swords, and again, emotional well-being and needing to get back to a place where you feel okay. But the only way to do that, I think, again, the Hermit to me is the appropriate response to this. Damn, man. Oh, Aquarius. Now, I look at this, because of the 3 of Swords being the overall and the 10 of Swords being in your environment, this is something that has already happened. It's already connected. But the thing is that this person is, coming back through, is how I look at this. And the focus is still on everything that ended in a really bad way in the present moment. For a lot of you, there may be too much heartbreak here that you can't, just let this person back in. That, or they're not coming back, you're just constantly focused on this. But, again, with the Hermit, don't go into isolation here, but I still think it's the right response. If somebody is coming back through, it's like, wait a minute, just leave me alone for a second, because this really sucked and it really hurt. And you don't want to be in a place where you're still going through what happened, and somebody seeing things differently than you, right? Everybody has their own truth and their own memory of an experience. And if it doesn't align with the way that you felt on how things went, it would make sense that there's this constant no. Now, looking at the 9 of Swords as your hopes and fears, don't do that shit to yourself. There is no point in continuously playing out the worst of an event in your mind, because all you're doing is just torturing yourself. Those thoughts do not help. And again, the Hermit, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that it's there, because it may help you clear out all this shit. Now, as far as a fear, if you're playing the thoughts out in your mind of the coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? You may be torturing yourself thinking about the action that happened and wondering if you did the right thing. It was going to end anyway. Especially if you were dealing with a person who only gave a shit about themselves and not you. God damn, man. And then coming out the 8 of Pentacles. And, I feel good about it, as long as we're looking at the Three of Swords in reverse here, okay? So the focus, I understand why it's there, considering this shit and looking at who, the past coming through is. Although I probably would have said the same thing had it been like the King of Wands. But I look at the Eight of Pentacles coming out, and I think that for a lot of you, it's about like getting back to work, doing the hard work on yourself, right? Why did you get caught up in this situation? Why did things end the way that they did? But how do you correct that in your life rather than playing the bullshit out in your mind over and over and over again? You understand what I'm saying? So I see this as a good thing as long as you're not putting a lot of hard work and effort into the continued focus on the heartbreak, right? And then the Two of Wands in perfect, right? There is another course of action that can be taken here, but you don't need to take action that's going to make you fall back into where you were. And again, transition, right? The Queen of Swords. If this is about somebody that you're still dealing with, it would make sense that you're very upset, you're very cold, you're very shut off, you've been put through a lot of pain. But the communication between you and this person is not going to go anywhere. There's no point in getting involved with it. Especially if your focus is still on the fact that this is a bad situation. Bad, and it hurt, right? But if they're coming back through, that's you saying no. And with the Eight of Pentacles, it's not about putting hard work into, repairing any kind of a relationship where you've been heartbroken. It's about yourself, especially with that Queen of Pentacles and looking at the Queen of Cups. It's funny because it's like all these queens, they're all the different things that you're internalizing involving one person in particular, right? One thing is not like the others, so I'm pretty sure here that this King of Pentacles is going to be somebody from the past coming back through that caused you a lot of pain and only cares about themselves. The Queen of Pentacles coming into the present with the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Swords. This may have wrecked you on an emotional level and put, your self-confidence and security into question. But with the Queen of Pentacles, you're focused on putting in the work into yourself. We're getting back to work here. We're working on things. We're making things better. And that's how I feel about that. And then with the Two of Wands coming out of that, once you get back to this place of being emotionally whole again and being, self-sufficient and confident in your abilities to create whatever the hell you want, the Two of Wands here is like, okay, I can create what I want in this situation. I get to make the choice on what action that I take. But it's also about taking a little bit of responsibility, I think, for what you initially created in the first place, right? And it's not saying that you deserved any of this, not by any means. But if you're looking at that with the Hermit, yeah, that's what we're understanding. Okay, I can create my world the way that I wanted to. That course of action led me to this bullshit. So what path are you taking now? And I think that that's what you're working on here with that Eight of Pentacles. It's not only self-work here, but it's really putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort into, the paths that you're going to follow after this, But I do think that there may be a part of you going, I could go back to that, but as long as this is still here, what's the point? Okay, so abundance is good, right? It's abundance in all areas of your life. Okay, not just what you have in the physical, but what you have emotionally. But you're stuck in this place with the Three of Swords, obviously here. As long as you stay stuck with this, it's going to be hard for you to find the balance that you need. But you have abundance and balance surrounding you. You just need to get unstuck from the heartbreak and the pain. And choose love. You always have a choice as to what you should do. And then patience, not pressuring yourself to do anything. Not pressuring any kind of major transitions. But love and patience and choosing love is choosing the right love for you, right? Have patience when it comes to love in your life, absolutely. But have patience with yourself, and choose love for yourself, right? We hear it all the time, but we never pay attention. And it's so true. How the hell can you expect somebody else to enjoy your company if you can't enjoy your own? And I think that that's where you're going with the Hermit right now. But you can choose a different love here. But it's not something that needs to be rushed. And if we are talking about a person that there's an addiction to, right? Now is the time to break that. You know, because the fact that, you know, and again, it's general, the fact that some of you have dealt with a very painful ending with a person, you know, and the fact that you're still focused on it should be enough to tell you that this is not the right choice. It's not something that you need to continuously keep yourself chained to.